Welcome to my podcast where we are discussing the ethics in public relations and artificial intelligence. Brandi Boatner, who specializes in digital and advocacy communications at IBM, is joining me today. Brandi, thank you so much for talking with me about AI and what you do. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the time and the effort and the project.
Awesome.
And she deserves an A. And I love the project.
Thank you. Plug to my teacher.
Right.
So could you tell me a little bit about what you do at IBM?
Yes, I do many things, but I am a member of our newly formed, as of January 1, we formed a new team within corporate communications called Corporate Affairs. And it entails our PR, analyst relations, internal communications, and social media. So influence and advocacy, which is where I sit. So all of these teams have now come together to form corporate affairs. I am specifically focused on influence and advocacy work for our consulting business. So I work with a lot of external influencers, people we work with in the B2B tech space to help amplify and tell our story across social platforms, and working internally with our IBMers to enable them on social media for how they advocate for the company and how they advocate for the work that we do, and how they advocate for themselves. I do a workshop within IBM called Branding with Brandi. That's all about personal branding and getting IBMers more active and invested on social, but they are our greatest advocates and our greatest ambassadors. So I would be doing a disservice if I did not arm them well with how they show up on social media.
That's awesome. And I know this discussion today will be primarily talking about comms and artificial intelligence, which I know doesn't impact you in your day-to-day work. However, you are familiar with the topic and what you do at IBM. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So one of the things that IBM we really pride ourselves on is that we really want to be known as the hybrid cloud and AI company for the enterprise. So not consumer, for the enterprise. And if we look at just the technology and the innovations that we do, we really are a catalyst to make the world work better. And that's using technology like hybrid cloud and AI, using it to really tackle some of the world's toughest challenges, whether that's climate, whether that's any kind of environmental. I mean, how can technology really, again, help solve? Now, I'm not saying that technology is going to solve everything or be the enabler, but it can certainly provide, solutions to be able to do that. So when you work at a company that wants to be known as the AI company, how can you not be surrounded by AI, which I am? And again, it doesn't affect my day to day, but it is part of our overall corporate strategy and our mission as a company.
Awesome. And then you told me a little bit beforehand, we got to know each other a little bit more. Brandi's from down south, just like I am, which is awesome. You expressed to me that you don't primarily work with AI in your comms work. However, you guys send out different messages and storytelling surrounding AI. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So if you think about okay, what is AI, right? People will say what, there's a lot of definitions of how people talk about AI. Where I first heard it, and just kind of, again, coming in, I've been at IBM 13 years. And where I first heard it, there was a paper that was written by a technologist in 2004. And he called AI the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. So how computers can think like a human brain. That was based on, and then I went back and I actually read it because it was something that really inspired a lot of the work that IBM did. But Alan Turing, back in 1950, published a paper called Computing Machinery and Intelligence. And I went and I read it. And the main question, now look, it's very technical, and you have to I had to reread things twice because I'm wow, he's going in. It was he was really going in. But his main question was can machines think? Can computers think like a human brain? right? Can they process information like a human brain would be able to? And that, like I said, there are a lot of different definitions of AI and artificial intelligence. And so, like, what is that? When I think about as a communicator being able to tell that story, it's you have to be really thoughtful and tell it in a very human way, because some people could perceive that as the Skynet Arnold Schwarzenegger robots Westworld coming, because you're like, you want a computer to think like a brain?
Right.
Or you could have like the war games where the whole movie was about the young man playing against the computer. Like the computer had, like, they personified it, gave him a name, all these things. The same thing with like our AI platform is called Watson, named after our founder of IBM, Thomas J. Watson. And I even find myself saying things like, oh, he can, and I'm like, he's not a person
Right.
on the computer. So when you're a communicator trying to tell the story about artificial intelligence, and like I said, how natural language processing, hey, Alexa, play my favorite music, that's language, is voice to text, or voice to speech, that the thing then gives a command to do something, right? You have to be really intentional about how you tell that story. And so I like to think about my role as a communicator with AI when it comes up, and when I have thoughtful conversations like this, it's man with machine, not man versus machine. And that's what it's been in like Hollywood and all these different things that pit us against the machines and the robots and the wars and all the, the wars coming because the robots are taking over, and hell, Westworld got canceled on HBO Max, all this stuff. It's really man with machine, not man versus machine.
And there's so much conversation around AI these days. So much. And so much happening too. We talked about the Vanderbilt situation where their EDI department in their education school released a statement about the Michigan shooting. And then at the bottom of that statement, there was a chat GPT sign, information at the bottom that was able to show that, like, hey, no one physically wrote this. And people have
The
criticized,
machine wrote it.
right? People have
Mm.
criticized the statement and saying that it's impersonal and lacking empathy. And you talk some more about this. Like, when you think about AI, can a machine have empathy? Can a machine, value ethics? It's
I
just,
mean, that's a loaded question of value ethics, but the machine is only as able to do what you program it to do.
Mhm.
So if you don't want the AI to be biased, don't have everybody who looks the same or who has bias programming that. It's very simple. It's a very simple concept. So when you're dealing with things like data and you want to be responsible about data, of course you have to, have ethical practices in AI, but that's only if you're programmed to do that, if you have the framework to support that. It's really not that difficult to figure out if you think about it. But again, can a machine have empathy? I think natural language processing, and I think what machines are able to do continue to grow and grow and grow, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg of certain things that machines can do. But I'm not going to be the one to say a machine is going to surpass the intelligence of a human brain. You're not going to hear me say that. I'm not smart enough to say that. But
Mhm.
I do think machine learning is something that is going to continue, and how you apply that and how you look at the applications of artificial intelligence for things like speech recognition, like I mentioned about, Siri, Alexa, how you use it for customer service. We
Mhm.
already see virtual agents, chatbots, people that you think you're talking to online that you think is like an actual person, but it's not. It's a chatbot. It's a highly intelligent chatbot, but it's not. But it's been programmed to, because everyone probably asks like the same question, and so it's been
Yep.
programmed. Again, you have to be thoughtful about how you program. But the applications of AI, you can look at it, for algorithms. You can look at it for like stock trading, fantasy football. You can use AI to look at all the data for the players. And so the applications is really what I think we should focus on, as opposed to like, can it cry? Can the machine what about the machine if they get ghosted because they went on a date and he never called back? Like, let's
Does
let's
that matter?
let's keep certain things in check, shall we? Like, let's
Yeah.
just look at the application of AI. Yeah.
I love that. And when you think about the work that we're in comms and how AI has become a part of that, what are your thoughts on, you know, AI and PR professionals utilizing that in their work?
Yeah. So I like the thought of like the use cases and the thought of the possible of what we can do with AI for PR. The space that I operate in with influencers and external influencers, I think AI can help with like identifying the right influencers who are the most likely people for you to work with, or what's their reach, or what motivates their audience based on data, based on predictive analytics, and how people respond to them based on trends. I think so. Influencers is a really good use case, I think, for PR and comms people. I also think that, we joke about it, about Chat GPT like writing something, but like, can Chat GPT write my press release or like my media monitor report? So of course I would like check it naturally, but like, can it like do it for me? Because maybe I have to do something else, or but looking at just that use case. Also too, thinking about our media outlets and our contacts, what's the greatest probability of generating coverage based on what an AI model might tell me? Again, looking at the data, looking at being, predictive about it. I mean, I think that is just like a huge, if you knew, because right now we hope we pitch and we get coverage for a particular story, but what if you knew, if you pitched this person at this outlet at this time, based on data, based on predictive analytics, that you're going to get 80% chance you're going to get coverage in the New York Times? Oh my God, do you know how much
A game changer.
headache that would save people? It would probably
Yes.
take years off your life if you like knew you could do that, because PR is the ER. So if I knew going in that I had a high probability of getting earned coverage based on the data, based on using it, oh, that would
A
be wonderful.
game changer.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I love that. And then my next question to you, I'm thinking about how I've read a lot about AI and PR,
Mhm.
and there were some, I guess you can say, scaries that came up from some PR professionals. And one big topic was jobs. If we have machines who can basically do what we do, or some of what we do,
Mhm.
what does that mean for the PR industry? Personally, I think it's going to shift. It may not, job functions will be differently. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, so it's not, so I want to be clear. It's not just PR people, because this actually came up a lot from journalists, right? And especially, like, I know we keep talking about like Chat GPT, like we keep talking about it, but journalists are like, am I gonna, I just said I would love it if the capability could write my press release. Where journalists are like, well, is a machine gonna write like my stories? So it's not just the PR people, the journalists are also thinking about this. And this is, come up a lot. My take, it's not that we, so this is the thing. We do have a shortage of labor, just based on like the demographics of the US. However, I do think there are some jobs that AI, like I mentioned about customer service and having a chat bot and things like that. I do think that AI, that could replace that type, like a customer, you're like, why do you need to have a customer service person? We just have like a chat bot. Like, so would not do that. Yes, but at the same time, I just don't think that companies are gonna make money, cutting people or cutting headcount in favor of, technology. I don't want to say that. Um, I think AI will replace some jobs, but I don't think it's something where, like you said, like people were like, oh my God, this scares, I'm going to be out of, I'm not going to say it's going to replace everybody or anything like that. So I just, I don't, I don't want to say like, oh, beware, AI is going to take your job away. I don't want to say that. I think that the algorithms and what the technology is going to change the labor market, but jobs will be replaced. But then I think there are new jobs that'll be created because it can't. What did I say? It can only be as good as you program it to be, right? It doesn't have like a mind of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna do all that? So, who is gonna, so it'll affect the labor market. And like I said, we already have a job shortage, but jobs will be replaced, but new jobs will be created, I feel. Like
Interesting.
that's just I'm not, you're not gonna be like, and Brandi Boatner says your job is gone.
No.
That's not what I'm gonna
Hopefully
say.
everybody's job will, be secure.
I would just say the labor market's gonna change.
Yeah.
That again, some jobs people will be replaced, but new thing, it's going to change just like anything. None of us were prepared for the pandemic, and now look at this post-pandemic reality. If you would have told me I would be a regular customer at Amazon Fresh because I didn't want to go to the grocery store and have this poor Amazon, and I get the same driver every time. He hates me.
Oh
I
my
just
God.
he's to like carry like 24 bottles of water because I don't want to carry it, so I might as well have you do it.
So he knows you
Oh,
basically.
because he delivers to me every week. It's the same driver, and I'm ridiculous because I don't want to carry. I'm too cute to be hurting my back and carrying
Right.
all this stuff. I don't want to do it. You do it. And I have the deliveries. I like to have like it delivered like first thing in the morning. So he be at my house at like 6:30.
I
Do you
love
think he
that.
wants to be at my house at 6:30 delivering all that? No. If you would have told me that that would be something that I would lean into so heavily after the pandemic, I would have been like, no, I want to go to the grocery store and get my groceries. I want to do my stuff. Girl, if I don't have to go, I ain't going. Come to
Right.
me about stuff. We weren't ready for that. So again, labor market will change, but we just have to be prepared for the shifts and how it happens. Like I said, I don't want people to have this panic, like robots, your job's gonna be, your job's not gonna be here. There's
Hmm.
gonna be a whole slew of other jobs that are created, and we'll do that.
Yeah. I think too, I also read that because of the shift in, the world is changing, how things are going. Technology is advancing, artificial intelligence as an example.
Mm,
Um, do you think that I wouldn't even just say PR professionals, but professionals in general, people in the workforce who encounter AI, should they learn these skills? Would that be beneficial to, as technology advances, our skill set advances as well?
100%. Absolutely. You definitely should. You definitely should learn new skills. It's funny. I'm working on something right now. I can share this because I'm moderating a technology panel on Saturday, as a matter of fact, this upcoming
Nice.
Saturday. And I referenced that at this year's Consumer Electronics show, which is like one of the largest technology shows because it's like where you can showcase like all the new consumer products and consumer electronics and gaming consoles and you name it, like anything that we do. The research director for CES, or for the Computer Technology Association, CTA, who throws CES, he said technology is the answer. I don't care what the question is. Technology is the answer. And he gave a lot of different examples of what about this? What about this? What about this? And he's like, technology is the answer. So
Wow.
because the pace and rate of change and how technology has changed so many things, like the pre-pandemic, we had to go all digital because we couldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
We have to learn new skills because as technology is evolving, like we're evolving too. I jokingly told you about my whole Amazon Fresh, but I never used to do that. Like I never did that before. And the fact that I can get on my phone, pay a minimum base fee, get all my stuff delivered to my front door, I'm gonna do it. Like, so I think it's like I said, you have to evolve. You have to, your skills need to evolve because the world has evolved. And that's just not a technology statement. Like PR people, we didn't have anybody who handled COVID communications 3 years ago because COVID didn't exist. We didn't
Mhm.
have anybody who was doing social justice pre George Floyd, even though Mike Brown happened long before.
Yeah.
We didn't have, but now, oh, there's like a resurgence and a reckoning. Like, oh my God, like, where's our statement for the Black people? Where's our statement for
Mhm.
the Asians? Where's our statement for, where were those roles?
Yeah.
Mm. So always have to evolve the skills. whether it's technology or not, but definitely with technology for sure.
Wonderful. Well, Brandy, it's been great speaking with you.
Is this
Thank you so
helpful? I hope
much.
this is like, is this like good?
Yes, this has been wonderful.
Want you
Thank
to get
you.
an A?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I enjoyed it. I like having conversations like this because I like to talk about the industry and just like I said, communicators, the applications. I think that's like my big takeaway. It's like, how can it be applied? What can we learn?
Mhm.
To your point of asking about the skills, that's what people need to focus on. Don't focus on the negative narrative of replace you, no jobs, it's the devil. Like, let's focus on the opportunities and the applications that AI can bring, and the opportunities, the skills. Let's focus on those things as opposed to some of the negative things
I love that. Stay positive.
all the time. It's like my mantra in life. Listen, life's too short to be like, oh, I could complain all day. Is it going to change anything? Nope. So I choose the path of greatness because I just feel like I come from a place of abundance, and honey, there's a lot of abundance around me. So
Tell it.
I'm not gonna be like, so I'm not gonna be that. So yeah, positivity.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome.